Hello fellow old schoolers, and welcome to the final installment of this mini-series where we followed Jesper on his Aggro-Control-Burn, his new brew, as he was being tested throughout the playgroup. In the previous matches we saw him against a lion at tuck and against the deck. And so we're really putting him through the ringer here. This time around he's coming up against my other tournament brew, namely Skynet. Usually I'm on composition A, but this is another tournament brew of mine, which is essentially a robot deck. Jesper has just recently returned to the format, so this is a brand new brew of his, and let's take a few minutes just to go over the decks real quick here. So this is Jesper on his new brew. We saw deck techs of this in the two previous matches, but just for a quick recap here, it is a mixture between Aggro-Control, aka Lion Dead, and Lion Dead Bolt. So he has 1 foot in the Aggro-Burn strategy and 1 foot in the Aggro-Control route. So he can kind of shift gears depending on what he's against and how the game evolves. The creature base is 3 7 Alliance, 2 Serra Angels, and 4 Send Befrites, and he will try to protect them with his counter magic and just punch in. And then he can finish the game if he wants to with Lightning Bolts and Sonic Blast, having access to a full playset of Sonic Blasts after sideboard. That is about it. He has a single book as well, I think 1 or 2 books. It's hard to see on this picture, but I think it's only 1. Still, it will provide him the ability to go more reactive, where he just draws at the other guy's end step, having counter magic to defend himself, and he can obviously also draw into more burn if he goes that route. So Solid Brew has been doing very well in the test matches so far, and he's Jesper here is gearing up for an upcoming tournament, as are we all. So this is pretty much a training match we're going to see here. His sideboard is pretty geared against his opponent, which is me. He has Shadow Storms and 3 Divine Offerings. Also Red Blasts, they will come in handy, and Energy Flux actually, so a lot of sideboard options against the robots and the deck. So should be well equipped against Skynet after sideboard. Before sideboard he might have more of difficulty. Okay, so that's it for Jesper's deck here. All the restricted cards from blue, red, white and black, so lots of colors here. Let's go over Skynet. And this is yours truly coming in with the Rogue AI here. Now Skynet is my secondary brew, and I just won a recent tournament, namely the Danish Old School Championship, DOS. With it we can see the trophy at the top left of this deck picture. I can't exactly remember the composition of this deck, but this is a pretty close approximation of what I brought. We see it here, it's 3 colored, white, blue and black. As for blue we have the 3 copy artifacts and 3 counterspells and a mana drain for control. We also have the item manipulators, 4 Triskelions, 4 Sushis, and the workshop obviously, the blue power cards and the recall. I think the Time Twister might be out at this point. As for black we have the usual cards, and we also have the Abyss. It's very well against non-artifact brews, because the Abyss won't touch my own artifact creatures. We see it's a very focused mid-range deck, this one, with a lot of big robots. And then we have the Anime Dead, that I imagine is like the Terminator coming back after being burned. Standing up from a pile of burning wreckage and moving, just keeps on coming, never stopping. It has this element where you can just put out the robots and then protect them with your counter magic, and then just mass produce them with copy artifacts, and if they get destroyed you'll animate them and just kind of overwhelm the other guy. That is the strategy anyway. For white, it has very light on the removal, and that is perhaps it is pretty dangerous in this matchup, and but only having a single Sword of Plowshares and a couple of Icy Manipulators and the Abyss to protect myself. But obviously once I get enough mana to get the Triskelions out, it will be able to shoot down little critters as well. And obviously I can defend myself with counter magic, but that is by far the weakest part of this deck. Is it has so much aggression and robots, and very little in the form of removal. Besides that, as for sideboard, we see it here. In the match at the Danish Old School event, I didn't have a second Abyss. I didn't own one, but I got one as a prize there. So it's just been put in here. It can be sideboarded in against various decks that it's good against, but the reason why I don't have two in the main deck is because it will be dead draws against many of the tier 1 opponents like the deck and other robot brews. But Skynet can actually shift gears here into a Robo-Geddon deck, I suppose, which would resemble Urnum-Geddon, but with artifact mana instead of creatures, having Armageddons here to cast after the robots has gotten out, and with Dust to Dust as backup, just to remove Moxen and stuff like that. So it's a pretty solid strategy, I feel. Then we have Circular Protection Red and Circular Protection Artifact. It is a new strategy I'm trying to implement here, but with so many robots and so many factories in the format, and also Anks of Mithra and Black Wises and from Atox, I thought that this might be really interesting to try to use Circular Protection Artifacts and see if that will work. This can be used in especially in this brew, because it does require time in the beginning before I can get enough mana to deploy all the big robots. So some defensive cards are fine. Then I have a City in a Bottle. That would be great in this matchup, cracking him out of 70 Befrieds and also his Cities of Brass. We see that this deck has no Arabian Night cards besides the Library of Alexandria. I have forgone using Cities of Brass, which is, I mean, most robot decks I see use Cities of Brass. Personally, I don't think it's worth it. Especially in a brew like this, where I just have so many artifacts like Ices and a full playset of Sushis and Triskelions, so many colorless mana. So yeah, City in a Bottle, kind of broken when you don't sacrifice anything yourself. Then we have the Blue Blasts, probably against Blood Moons, and other red spells, Shivan Dragons, blocking Fireballs, stuff like that. And I can have 4 Swords to Plowshares after sideboard if I'm against a mid-range or an aggro deck, sort of like really mashing up on the creature removal. 4 Swords to Plowshares and 2 Abyss and a City in a Bottle would be actually possible in this brew, really just shutting down the creature base, more or less. So yeah, I think both decks have pretty damn brutal sideboard options against each other, so we shall see how this plays out. Let's get ready for round number 1. And we have Aggro-Control-Burn on the play here with a Tundra, Skynet on the right, starting off with a Mox Sapphire into a Demonic Tutor. I have an Underground Sea as well, so likely just an Ancestral Recall here. In my end step, oh yeah, there's another Ancestral Recall, so I need to tutor for mine, but no need to do that when you have it in your starting hand, so we're about equal here. Mox Jet coming out. That's a factory. Do I have a 70 Befried? Turn 2 here? No. No such luck for Aggro-Control-Burn. So there goes my Ancestral Recall. 1 Mox on each side. Actually, yeah, very, very evenly matched these openings. First threat is Aggro-Control-Burn. Actually strip mining his Tundra instead of the factory, I think that might be a mistake. City of Brass here, because he's just Ancestraled, cracking him out of colored mana would be difficult. But you never know. It is a minor thing anyway. Okay, blocking factory coming out here. Only 3 mana, so I can't. I mean, you need 4 mana in this deck just to really. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay, I'm activating the factory and playing a copy artifact on the factory. It removes the factory, so I need to retarget, and I'm retargeting into the Sapphire here. Needed to remove some artifact removal or bench spells from him, and in a way this will provide 4 mana next turn, unless he cracks something as a Chaos Orb. No, okay, attacking with the factory, having a Chaos Orb as backup here, really just evolving all over the board. Aggro-Control-Burn is. Another factory coming down. Oh, might be an Icy on a Sushi here. 4 mana is always pretty nice. Okay, getting the Sushi. I see there's an enemy dead in hand, so, oh, but yeah, never mind. I thought he might Chaos Orb it so I could animate it back in, but no such luck. Just softly plowsharing it, removing it from the game, so I can't animate it. Factory comes in for another swing, but I am at 18 because gaining 4 life from that Sushi. And he has 2 blue mana up, doesn't he? It's hard to tell. Might be a Plains there. We shall see. It's a bit of an unlucky glare at that particular point. Okay, I see coming out. Those are planes. Okay, but disenchanting it immediately. I'm just tapping his City of Brass for good measure, just to ping him as he destroys my ice manipulator. So far, he has had so much removal. Everything I try is destroyed, and he hasn't even used his Chaos Orb yet. I think as a brain guy, so I think now might be a good time to cast that, because he can't really stop me. He doesn't have 2 blue mana, so I need to get that going before. No, okay, instead I'm mind twisting him. Okay, taking his entire hand, it seems, and it just bolts me as a fast effect before that. Chooses not to attack because I have a blocking factory. He could choose to Chaos Orb my factory and then attack, but still, he needs that Chaos Orb once I start to deploy the big ones. Okay, after Mind Twist, I think I'm Brain Geysering here, getting a Black Lotus, playing a Black Lotus, sacking that. Restocking my hand. I need to figure out how to do this. Okay, I'm just really going for broke here. Keeping a white mana untapped, just to activate the factory, but also to be able to play Disenchants or Swords to Plowshare, if I so chooses. Then discarding a land here. I actually have an enemy dead in hand, but no viable targets in the graveyard, because the Sushi is removed from play by that Swords to Plowshares. But I think we'll get the ball rolling now. This is what Skynet can do. Once it hits critical mass in its production facilities, aka mana, it'll just start to really... So he Chaos Orbs it, and we always... Yeah, it hits here. But in these training matches, they always count as hits. Okay, so removing that. Now animating it after shooting him at active. He activates the Chaos Orb, I shoot him. He still chooses to target the Triskelion, so it gets destroyed. He does that in order for me to not copy it, but then I have animate deads. So the robot gets back in. Now there's another Terminator coming out, guns blazing. Oh, and another one copying the Terminator. So that's 9 points of damage straight there. Don't even have to move a muscle. He'll take 1 point of damage in his upkeep, going down to 11, and he can't remove them. Even if he tries to remove them, I'll just shoot him in response. So he has like 2 turns to live, and there's nothing he can do. So yeah, and he even had counter spells and mana drain, and another enemy dead in hand. Okay, Skynet just overwhelming power here after getting all the production out. But it was touch and go in the beginning. I think he was ahead for the longest time, removing everything I had, but that Mind Twist followed up by a Brain Geyser sealed the deal. Once Skynet had its the required mana, it can just, it's so hard. It's like a flood. It's so hard to stop because of the enemy deaths and the copy artifacts. This game just showed how relentless these Terminators can be, because he Chaos Orbs the Triskelion, then it gets animated in, then it gets copied, and even more Triskelions get out, and then all the guns will just open up on the opponent, and yeah, just really a tidal wave. But it does require a lot of mana for it to function, so I think after sideboard he'll take in his Energy Flux, and that will put really a dampener on Skynet's production. And obviously he'll also take Divine Offerings and maybe even Red Blasts against the copy artifacts and counter magic. For my side, I think I'll take in another Abyss. I'll take in the City in a bottle. Maybe more Swords to Plowshares. I can't take the Disenchants out. Usually that would be a viable thing against a deck like this, because he doesn't have many artifacts, but after sideboard he might have Energy Flux, and I need those Disenchants to block them. Alright, that is my sideboard predictions. Let's get into round number 2, where Aggro-Control-Burn will be on the play again. It'll be really interesting to see what the sideboard options are. Okay, starting off with an early Savannah Lion here. Pressure immediately, and Skynet can't really, actually at least before sideboard, can't really do much before that. Oh, just balancing it away, don't want that to get in, and getting out a single land and a couple of Moxens, so he might even have to discard a card from his hand. Yeah, he does here. Alright. I don't know if I've taken in all the Swords to Plowshares against him. Before sideboard I am pretty vulnerable. Oh, no mana though, no lands. Chaos Orb coming out. And he has a double blue mana up, and can disenchant in response to a Chaos Orb flip. Okay, now trying to copy the Chaos Orb. If he disenchants it in response, I can still retarget and get more mana, so I suppose that makes sense. Okay, he does so here. Targets the Chaos Orb, I activate that in response. Copy one of the Moxen. I might as well crack his Tundra, crack him out of white mana. Let's see if it hits. And it, yeah, perfect flip actually. Pretty lucky. Okay, now likely I am copying the Sapphire. Yeah, so now we have 4 mana. That'll open up the field for Ice Manipulators and Sushi's step 1. But he cracks my Tundra. So now I can't do anything. Well played. Another Lion. Okay, got a Plains finally here. Pretty wonky mana base, but I don't have any black mana, but I have the white and blue. Chaos Orb coming down. Chaos Orb in the Sushi, let's see if it hits, and obviously if it doesn't hit, it's all good. Oh, he bounces. That Sushi had Chaos Orb repellent, but as said, we still count that as a hit. In these training matches, we don't want these lock swings to have any influence on how the dex performs. Ruby coming down. Lion gets in for an angry poke at his end step. I disenchant his Ruby, now getting more mana. I think I have several disenchants in hand then, if I do that. Ooh, attacking with the Lion. Wheel of Fortune. Had a Mind Twist and a Brain Geist in hand. What? No, I'm mana draining the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, I don't want, he was emptying his hand. I don't want a full new hand full of creatures and burn, and I actually have mana. He's a bit more mana starved. Now I have 3 colorless mana from that mana drain. I can get stuff out. Yeah, using that to get out a Triskelion. I'll be able to shoot that Lion at my convenience. Now he Mind Twists my hand, I counter that. Okay. So we need to copy that little fella there if we can. No, just a Featherstone. Okay, shooting the Lion and then getting in. I don't want him to block me. I think that might be a mistake because he was tapped out. He couldn't block and bolt. Now it's boltable, that Triskelion, but I suppose it will cost him a lightning bolt and I can shoot in response and animate it. It's not all bad. Have a Featherstone now. Disenchant on it. Okay, so shooting him for 2, going to the graveyard. Oh, but he doesn't have any black mana. I actually need a black mana. I can't use the Featherstone because his only source of black mana is a Mox Jet. So, keeping back with the factory. Life Berry. No, I'm not. I'm actually attacking here. He saws the Plowshare Set. Okay, provides 2 points of life. I must have an answer against his factory then. It's pretty damn self-evident here. So he probably shouldn't attack with his factory, unless I tap out. I don't. Another factory. Okay, now he could consider attacking with one of them. He doesn't though. Needs the mana, I reckon. Like he wants to get some Serra Angel action out. So, as a bit of a lull in the storm here, now balancing here. Must have, it's because I have a pretty full hand and he doesn't have many cards. What to do? Cracking him out of black mana? Maybe. At least taking the Mox, it's the only target I could use. There's also a Divine Offering in hand. Probably need that against the... I think I have to go down to 1 card. That's actually pretty brutal. Because then I can't handle 2 factories. Oh, but he needs to go down. Oh yeah, he only had 2 lanes. He has a plateau and an island and 2. Okay, so he sacrifices the factories. I sacrifice the Divine Offering. Okay, yeah, we need to sacrifice lanes before cards in hand. So I saw that the factories are gone, then I remove my answers. Okay, now Mind Twisting his final card. Drew into that. Okay, Sushi coming down after the board state has been bombed. I think the balance was questionable because he kind of mana starved himself, but he doesn't require a lot of mana to get his stuff out. He has enough now with the attacking with everything. The factory gets removed. Sushi gets in, animating. Oh my god. Oh, but he counters. pretty damn crucial here. He has a City of Brass, a plateau on an island, now a volcanic island. And so she comes in again, down to 2, and I have a recall and a counterspell in hand. So next time I'll be able to block whatever he drove into. So it is Skynet wins this one 2-0. Let's see. Let's just continue here. We're just outside and then coming back in, and now we're just I'm just recording all the games, all the matches we had this evening. So yeah, round number 3. Aggro-Control-Burn on the play after sideboard still. Lion comes out. And this is what he needs to do. Oh, library out of Skynet. But yeah, immediate pressure here. He is the beatdown, as you say. Sol Ring coming out. And Skynet doesn't have cheap answers against lions, so really just needs to attack with that lion and try to just burn away, I suppose. And now he's against an active library, so even more reason just to really put the pedal to the metal here. And obviously, if you can get an answer against that library, that needs to be done as quickly as possible. I'm really giving it a good think here. Now, I need to discard if I don't play anything. I have a scrub land in hand. But did I use the library in his turn? No. What's going on here? Nope. Okay, playing the scrub land. And then, ooh, the abyss here. Okay, poor little lion. Nope. What's that? He sorts to Plowshare as his own lion. He might have a Wheel of Fortune or a balance then. Getting 2 life, removing the lion. Yeah, I don't know why. Why did he do that? He needs those softer Plowshares against the robots. What's the game plan here? Tundra, Emerald. I mean, if you had a balance, it would be pretty damn cool to use it. Oh, Ancestor Recall getting red blasted here. Alright. So if I play anything more, I think I'm outside library range now. I had anticipated that Ancestor to make me just get in back into the game, and he didn't have double blue mana up. Didn't really think it through that that he had red blasts obviously after sideboard. There's the balance. Okay, I suppose that he could have waited. Let me use the Ancestor Recall, but doesn't really matter. He's lost a card as well. Losing a bunch of cards, going outside library range immediately. Now he attacks with the factory, and the Abyss won't touch that factory. So what seemed like such a strong position is oh, that's a nice top deck. Or perhaps I kept that in hand. I likely did. Triskelion coming out here. Library on his side. A bit too late to the party here. As in, we don't have any cards in hand after that. Balance just demolished everything. Attacking with the Triskelion and getting an Icy out. Okay. And in his upkeep, I'm tapping down his factory. Now he can't use it for mana, and he can't attack with it. Wheel of Fortune. Okay, both getting within library range here. My library is tapped though. But it makes sense. I mean, he's staring down at Triskelion and a locked board state. He needs to draw into answers here, or he will get overrun by that Triskelion. And we both have an active library now, and his is untapped. He should actually tap it before he plays anything. Draw with the library. No, he uses it to cast a spell instead. Energy Flux. Okay, that makes sense. Brutal stuff here. Oh, but I counter it. And now I'm drawing up to 7 cards in hand. Need to untap that Icy Manipulator. Island down. It seems like I'm going for broke here. Don't even want to keep within library range. Another Triskelion, perhaps. Yep, coming out here. Copying the first one. Cracking a Lotus. What's this? I know he spent his balance. Oh, Brain Geyser here. Okay, getting back into library range. Another Mox, just exploding all over the board here. After that, a Wheel of Fortune. Should attack with a Trisk. Coming here. 4. Passing the turn. I did preemptively discard there, but now tapping down his factory. In his upkeep, there's the Flux though. Do we have a counterspell? It's pretty needed. Oh, another Flux. That'll wreck my board state, no counter magic. There's a disenchant at his end step though on one of the flux. Okay, so raise for impact, everything gets destroyed here, I suppose. Sovereign pays for itself. I use 2 Moxen to play for a Triskelion, and a land and another Mox to play for the other Triskelion. The Icy, what about the Icy? Dies in my upkeep. Could tap with it first, but he's tapped out. Oh, okay, but I had enough, so I will attack for 8 here, and then I'll shoot him for 6. That's game. Round number 3 goes to Skynet here. So, yeah. I mean, if you had both Energy Flux and out, I would be screwed. But that disenchant saved my bacon here. And after that Brain Geyser, I had enough mana, and once you give Skynet access to enough cards with so much mana out, I think I'll just outproduce Aggro-Control-Burn, because my permanents are just more expensive, but also better. So, yeah, but he didn't have any choice. I mean, it wasn't a bad play. That single Triskelion put so much pressure on him that he needed something to happen. Yeah, so we're gearing up for the final round here, round number 4. This is still after sideboard, where we're likely testing various sideboard strategies out. So far it seems Skynet has a reasonable matchup against him, even with those Energy Fluxen. Oh, he starts off turn 1 Library of Alexandria. Now it's his turn to do that. I do have a City in a Bottle in that deck, I reckon I should have. Just starting off with a Pearl here. Don't have many outs against it. Unfortunately, I'm on the draw. Otherwise, I could have played the balance and make him discard a bunch of cards just to keep outside library. But I did draw into another card, so there won't be much use. It'll only make him discard a single card. So he draws with the library after he's drawn for his turn. Playing a Tundra. 7 cards in hand. Need to get some stuff out and then play balance. Preferably some artifacts. Okay, I think I'm making my move now. Okay, I am. Because he's up to 7 cards in hand. Why am I? No, I don't need to remove a land. Okay. So, pushing him outside library range for a spell here. Just want to buy time for me to draw into something, an Our Ancestral Recall after the balance. Because I really need to... I wonder if I can play that as a response, and then it would be on the trigger while balance resolves. No, you probably couldn't. I mean, no, you couldn't, because balance is a sorcery. Anyway, now, okay, after the Ancestor drew into another... where he tried to save up. The next turn I could Mind Twist for 3. So just really handling that library, postponing it as much as I can. He changed his tactics here. Can't wait for too long, getting out a Lion. He's down to so few cards in hand, and I have so much mana that it would be suicide just to hold back with the cards just to get within library range. Because I'll now start to outproduce him. That's the Ancestral, that's really what he needed. No counter magic, I'm tapped out. Okay, back into the game here. He attacks and I tap the Lion. And he passes turn. Chaos Orbing his Tundra. Just trying to see if I can hit here. Oh, slides a bit, but makes it work. Tundra gets destroyed. Oh, City in a Bottle. Oh, crap, the City of Brass, the other one. Completely without mana here. And he can't play anything. What? That's so brutal. Okay, he got a land though. I think it's a Strip Mine. And he attacks with the Lion. Skynet has him in a death grip here. Brain Geyser. Are you kidding me? For 4 cards. Oh, he drew into another land. Attacking with the Lion again. I'm fine with that. I'm fine sacrificing a couple of lives just to tap out here. I think this game is in the bag already. Divine Offering on my own City in a Bottle. Okay, and then I play Library of Alexandria. Okay, he sacrifices his Strip Mine though, just to get rid of it. Fine, he's down to 1 colorless mana. And in his upkeep, I'm tapping his Factory. Don't mind losing a couple of life here, just needs to keep him in that headlock. only a single land left, and I can keep that locked down with my IC. Another factory. So like, and what's this? A sushi. Now attacking for 2. No, not attack. No, keeping 2 blue mana up. I'm just tapping one of his lands in his upkeep. The factory. He drew into a plateau. I can play that. Can't attack with the lion because I have a blocking sushi. What do we have here? Copying the sushi. He red blasted. Oh, nice. But I counter that red blast. Can't catch a break here. Workshop coming down. Now attacking with 2 factories and a sushi. He blocks one of the factories. I'm fine with trading. It's just all out attack here. Going for the finishing move before he can draw into anything. Oh, but he drew into a divine offering. Getting 4 life, getting rid of the sushi. I'm telling him here it's probably a better idea to take the copy artifact. No, I ask him what he takes because I'll be able to animate the sushi, but I won't be able to animate a copy artifact. But a copy artifact will only provide him 2 points of life, while the sushi will provide him 4. So he chooses the sushi. I animated. I didn't know I had an animate dead, obviously. So tapping down his plateau in his upkeep, again keeping him under that nuclear winter from Skynet. So 2 sushis and a factory coming in. And all the answers in the world. There isn't any out. He forfeits the game here. He had a lot of stuff, but that IC kept his lands locked down. Otherwise, he had a couple of 70 Befrites. Also had a red blast, but copy artifact, once it's been cast, it's no longer a blue permanent. It is an artifact. So yeah, Skynet actually kind of pummeled him here, 4 to 0. So I suppose it just seemed like it is a good matchup for Skynet, this one. So, but I mean, Jesper's deck has been doing really well overall, so you'll keep on tweaking, and we'll likely see some of it in an upcoming event here, or so I hope. So that was it for this match. Just put all the recordings I had out there. So it was a best of 4, I suppose, a bit chaotic, but I hope you can live with that. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next battle.